One of President Bush's most loyal cabinet members showed a side of herself today rarely seen in public. In a one-on-one interview in Palo Alto, KTVU political editor Randy Shandabell talked with Secretary of State Condoleezza Rice about race, discrimination, and the sense of pride she feels watching the Democratic presidential race.
For better or for worse, for the rest of her life, whenever someone mentions Condoleezza Rice, they'll think of Iraq and President Bush, with him for his entire 8 years in office, National Security Advisor, Secretary of State.
In terms of Iraq, I think you're looking at a place where I will be the first to say was much, much harder than I ever thought it would be. You can never bring back the people that we lost, but I believe that it was done in a noble cause, and it will be to our benefit because we will have an ally in the Middle East who's willing to fight terror.
Some Democrats especially say that because of how the war was handled, because many people in other parts of the world see us as occupiers, because of things like Abu Ghraib, that the U.S. now has more enemies than it did before the war, that there are young men growing up as potential terrorists as we speak.
Well, I simply don't think it's true. First of all, I do think that there was a significant malignancy in the Middle East that exploded on September 11th.
And Rice says terrorists have attacked U.S. targets for decades. Embassies in the late 90s, Marines in Lebanon in 1983.
I would be the first to say, of course, we made mistakes.
Rice, who grew up in the segregated South, is the first female African-American Secretary of State. Discrimination?
I'm a package. I can't kind of go back and do the experiment. What would have happened if I'd been a white man? I don't think so. In fact, I would say that there are some things that have been advantageous even to our diplomacy. I think I've been able to speak to marginalized people in a way that comes out of my own experience from segregation in Birmingham. Maybe when I was a little bit younger, I did get the occasional question, what's a nice girl like you doing
But you don't think it's been hurting?
No.
You're obviously a Republican, but you're watching the Democratic race. For the first time, a woman has a real chance of becoming president. For the first time, an African-American has a real chance of becoming president. What are your thoughts as you watch this unfold?
Well, I think our country is demonstrating yet again that it's overcoming really a pretty difficult legacy on both gender, but especially on both gender and race, but particularly on race. Our country has a birth defect. We were born with the sin of slavery, and it took us almost 100 years to free my ancestors. And then, of course, a long, long period of Jim Crow and segregation and continuing deprivation. And so it's really quite important that the country is showing that it's gotten past that. I'll tell you something else. When I complete my term, if I complete my term, we will have been 12 years without a white male Secretary of State. That's pretty remarkable, too.
I don't imagine you're going to vote for either of them, but does it make you feel proud?
I'm proud of this country. But, you know, I've never not been proud of this country. I love this country.
Chances of you becoming a running mate with John McCain?
No, I'm done.
Zero.
Yeah, that's right.
Governor 2010, Senate 2010.
Come now. I'm looking right now to the end of what has been an extraordinary time, a really, in many ways, wonderful time, challenging time. It'll be nice to do something else.
That's a non-denial denial.
I didn't even run for president of my high school, so I don't think I'm the sort of elected office type.
She's still young, 53 years old, with options aplenty. For now, she says, she just wants to return to Stanford. In Palo Alto, political editor Randy Shandabell, KTVU Channel 2 News.